Look at this high-performance premium t-shirt. It's soft, it's breathable, and it's built to last.
But what if I told you that just a few months ago, this very shirt was floating in the Pacific Ocean
as a collection of dirty, discarded plastic bottles?
Right now, humans are buying 1 million plastic bottles every single minute.
Most will sit in a landfill for the next 450 years. But today we're going inside one of the most advanced facilities on Earth to witness an industrial miracle. We're going to show you how a mountain of literal trash is sorted by AI eyes.
Melted at extreme temperatures and spun into fibers finer than a human hair.
This isn't just recycling, it's high-tech alchemy.
And the process is much more complex and satisfying to watch than you ever imagined.
From the moment the trucks dump the waste to the final stitch on a designer garment,
This is the secret journey of your clothes.
But before we can create fashion, we have to deal with the mess.
And it all starts with a massive, chaotic influx of waste that looks like it could never be clean again.
every journey begins with a single step. But in the world of high-scale recycling,
it starts with a mountain, a literal mountain of plastic.
We're at a massive regional recovery facility where dozens of heavy-duty trucks arrive every hour.
each one carrying tons of commingled waste from cities across the state.
When those hydraulic beds lift and the trash hits the floor, the scale is staggering.
Look at this mess. Thousands of bottles, containers, and packaging materials are piled high.
In the US alone,
But here's the problem. This isn't just clean plastic. It's a chaotic mix of dirt, leftover liquids, old labels,
and caps made from entirely different polymers.
If even a small percentage of the wrong material, like a stray piece of PVC or metal, makes it into the final fabric, the entire batch is ruined.
The first challenge isn't just moving this mountain, it's organizing the chaos.
How do you find the specific Type 1 PET plastic hidden inside this mess?
It takes more than just human hands. To turn this mountain of filth into something wearable, we have to start the first stage of industrial separation,
where massive machines take over the heavy lifting. The mountain begins its high-speed journey.
Massive conveyor belts whisk the waste into the heart of the facility, where the first line of defense is a trommel.
Imagine a giant rotating steel drum several stories high, riddled with holes. As the trash tumbles inside, and gravity and centrifugal force take over,
small debris, glass shards, and dirt fall through the holes while the larger containers move forward.
It's loud, it's violent, and it's incredibly effective at stripping away the bulk of the non-plastic contaminants.
Next comes the ballistic separator. This machine uses a series of vibrating paddles
to sort materials by their physical properties.
Heavy 3D objects like plastic bottles bounce downward,
while flat 2D items like paper and plastic film climb the paddles to the top.
But we're still not done with the metals. Powerful magnets hovering over the line snatch up steel cans,
while eddy current separators use magnetic fields to literally launch aluminum cans off the belt.
By now, the waste is starting to look more like a stream of plastic.
However, there's a massive problem. Even though it looks like just plastic, it's a mix of dozens of different polymers.
If we want to make high-end fabric, we only want one thing: clear PET.
And this is where the human eye fails and the machine brain takes over.
Inside this dark, high-speed chamber, things get futuristic. We've moved beyond simple filters and magnets.
Now, we're using light to see the invisible.
As the plastic stream flies by at nearly 10 feet per second, it passes under a row of near-infrared near sensors.
These are not just cameras. They're chemical scanners.
By bouncing specific wavelengths of light off every object, the AI brain can identify the molecular signature of the plastic in a fraction of a millisecond. It's making 1,000 decisions every second.
Is it PET? Is it HDPE? Is it a clear bottle or a blue one?
In the world of recycled fashion, purity is everything.
Even a single green bottle cap mixed into a batch of clear PET can tint an entire mountain of white yarn.
The AI is programmed to be ruthless.
It maps the exact coordinates of every target bottle and sends that data instantly to the next stage of the line. But identifying the trash is only half the battle. How do you actually grab a single bottle
Out of a high-speed blur without stopping the belt?
The solution is a masterpiece of precision engineering that looks and sounds like a robotic machine gun.
The identification is done, but now comes the execution. At the end of the conveyor belt, there's a gap, a literal leap of faith for the plastic. Beneath this gap sits a bank of hundreds of high-pressure air nozzles, all controlled by the AI brain we just saw.
As the bottles fly off the edge of the belt, the system knows exactly which one is clear PET and which one is waste.
Redirecting its flight path into a separate chute. Puff, puff. It sounds like a rapid-fire pneumatic weapon.
The clear PET bottles are blasted upward into the clean stream, while everything else, the colored plastics, the stray cardboard, falls naturally into the reject bin.
This is the zero error zone. For a high-end clothing brand, even a 1% contamination rate is a disaster.
If a single green bottle cap makes it through, it can ruin a batch of white polyester yarn worth thousands of dollars. But even though these bottles are now separated, they are still just empty containers. To turn them into soft fabric,
We're about to enter the most violent part of the factory. Welcome to the most violent room in the factory.
Now that we have our pure stream of clear PET, it's time to destroy their identity as bottles forever. They are fed into the grinder.
The sound is deafening. In a matter of seconds, thousands of bottles are pulverized into small, jagged pieces known in the industry as flakes.
Why does that matter? Because even though these bottles looked clean after the air jet, they are still fundamentally dirty. Think about it. Inside, traces of sugary soda milk or chemicals. If we tried to melt the plastic now, those contaminants would burn, turning the entire batch into a black, useless sludge. To make high-end fashion, these flakes need to be purer than the water you drink. The shredding was the easy part. Now,
The shredded flakes are now moving, but they're still carrying the sins of their past lives.
Imagine a massive high-speed industrial blender filled with water. A central shaft rotates at incredible speeds, creating massive turbulence.
This intense mechanical friction literally scours the surface of every single flake, stripping away the loose contaminants.
Meanwhile, the lighter plastic flakes are pushed forward. But here's a dirty secret. Cold water and friction alone aren't enough.
If that glue remains, it will cause the plastic to yellow or even smoke during the melting process, ruining the purity of the fabric.
The flakes are about to take a dive into a boiling high-tech bath that separates the trash from the treasure at a molecular level. To achieve the purity required for high-end garments, we enter the most critical cleaning stage, the hot wash. The temperature here is cranked up to nearly 200 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense heat serves a dual purpose. It sterilizes the plastic.
In this bubbling, swirling cauldron, the last remnants of paper labels and plastic films are completely stripped away.
Why go to this extreme? Because even a microscopic amount of glue residue can cause the plastic to discolor or smell when it's melted later.
But even after this deep cleanse, we have a new problem. The soup inside these vats is now a mix of clear PET flakes, floating bottle cap fragments, and dissolved labels.
Round 6. They are all clean, but they are not all the same material.
Okay.
If we don't separate the PET from the other plastic...
How do you separate thousands of tiny particles that look almost identical to the naked eye? The answer isn't more chemicals. It's a simple law of physics. Welcome to the physics lab of the recycling world. After the boiling chemical bath, we're left with what looks like plastic confetti.
As soon as the mixture hits the water, a perfect silent separation occurs. The colorful cap pieces float to the surface.
But there is one last enemy we have to defeat before we can melt this plastic: water itself.
If even a microscopic drop of moisture remains inside the plastic when it hits the furnace, it will turn into steam, creating bubbles
that make the final fabric brittle and useless.
We're about to put these flakes through an industrial hurricane.
to get them bone dry.
The wet flakes enter the centrifugal dryer.
An industrial-scale hurricane, spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute.
The force is so intense that it flings every microscopic drop of water off the plastic,
leaving the flakes bone dry in seconds.
Why is this so critical?
If even a tiny amount of moisture remains,
it creates steam pockets during the melting phase.
These bubbles would cause the final polyester yarn to snap.
Under the slightest tension.
In the fashion world, a broken thread means a ruined garment.
Now the dry flakes are fed into the extruder. This is where the magic and the heat happen. Inside a massive steel barrel, a giant screw turns the flakes, while powerful heating elements crank the temperature up to a staggering 500 degrees Fahrenheit, 260 degrees Celsius.
Under this extreme heat and pressure, the solid plastic loses its form.
It turns into a thick, molten liquid that looks like transparent honey.
This
is the point of no return. The discarded bottle is officially gone, replaced by a pure, high-tech polymer.
But a pool of melting plastic isn't a shirt yet. To get there, we have to perform a feat of engineering.
That seems to defy the laws of nature.
Now the molten plastic honey reaches the spinneret.
Think of this as a high-tech shower head, but instead of water, it's pumping out liquid polymer through thousands of microscopic holes.
As the liquid is forced through these tiny apertures, it emerges as long, continuous filaments.
The moment these strands hit the cool air outside the spinneret, they solidify instantly.
What's mind-blowing is the scale. These fibers are often 5 times thinner than a human hair.
At this stage, they look like a ghostly, translucent spider web.
But there's a problem in this state. The fibers are weak and brittle. If you tried to weave them now, they would simply snap.
To give them the strength of professional athletic gear, they must undergo drawing. The fibers are stretched over a series of heated rollers at high speed.
This process aligns the molecular chains of the polymer,
turning a fragile string into a high-tenacity polyester fiber that's incredibly strong and flexible.
These thousands of individual filaments are then gathered together and spun into a single cohesive yarn. This is
But there's one thing missing. Right now, all this yarn is a dull, transparent white. To make it ready for the run.
In a traditional textile factory, dyeing fabric requires millions of gallons of water and harsh chemicals that often end up polluting our rivers.
But here, the process is much smarter. Color is added directly to the liquid polymer. We call the solution dyeing.
By mixing concentrated color pigments directly into the melt, the color becomes part of the fiber itself.
Now these colored yarn spools are moved to the weaving room. This is a cathedral of mechanical precision.
Thousands of industrial looms work in perfect synchronization. Watch as the warp and weft threads intersect at These machines can weave hundreds of yards of high-performance polyester fabric every hour.
The result? A textile that is moisture-wicking, incredibly durable, and most importantly, born from a bottle that was once destined for a landfill.
The fabric is then rolled into massive bolts, each weighing hundreds of pounds.
But we're not quite finished. Before a single yard of this recycled fashion leaves the factory, it faces the gauntlet.
Every inch is scanned by high-resolution cameras and human experts under specialized UV light.
Once approved, the fabric bolts are shipped to garment centers, where precision is handled by robots and artisans.
It's a long way from the landfill. Think about it. That plastic bottle you recycled 3 months ago didn't just disappear.
It was rescued from a 450-year sentence in the ocean, scrubbed clean, melted at 500 degrees, and reborn.
By choosing recycled polyester, we're reducing energy use by 50% and cutting CO2 emissions by over 70% compared to virgin plastic.
So the next time you hold a plastic bottle in your hand, remember, you're not holding trash. You're holding the raw material for the future of fashion.
If you found this industrial transformation as satisfying as we did, hit that subscribe button. Watch.